Hey, Reflections. So, the past few days has been really, really interesting. And I've just been, relaxing, not really worrying too much, but just feeling and understanding the feelings, understanding the change, and just letting it flow through me. So, yesterday was just as difficult as Monday. So I feel like maybe because of all of these energy shifts, I was just in like maybe a really odd mood. And I think my cat had sensed that and she was acting not so nice. She was acting not so nice. And it was just, I felt like she was just really mad and angry. And we kind of like we got annoyed of each other, and then I was just really annoyed, so I was like, well, I gotta do stuff. So I went outside and I wanted to share this story to you because this is another technique that you guys could use to ground yourself to this reality. So I was listening to Alan Watts the other day, and he said something that rang so true. And it was that once this person is done with this life or this simulation, this whatever you want to call it, this journey, being a human and living in this dimension, then they have to go on and go somewhere else. And I decided to stay back here because I wanted to help others. And the only reason why you are still on earth is one, to learn, two, to help others learn. So the thing that helped me, especially in those times where I didn't have any friends at all, like I just cut contact with everybody, they were very self destructive. And I mean, I didn't judge them. I just didn't want to be around that. You know what I mean? I used to go to nightclubs all the time and just drink and do things that weren't really healthy for me. See, now if I go to a rave, I'm not going to be drinking that much, or I'm going to be cautious, and I like to go sober most of the time. I mean, that's what I prefer now. That's because I've realized that I can't have lucid dreams when I'm, doing a lot of drugs, or if my mind is just not at its peak, it's going to be really hard. So I just felt that a lot of my attachments were unnecessary and causing me a lot more drama. So I did DMT, and after I done DMT, it was like back to back. I had become a vegan and I started volunteering. Now, the reason why I started volunteering is number one, I was super lonely. I live in Manhattan by myself. I didn't have any friends. My family was in another state. So I just wanted to be here and to just experience being alone on the holidays. And that's how it started. I was alone and I was experiencing it. And for the longest time, I was so frightened to be alone because I don't know, I'm just like anxiety ridden constantly, or that's how I used to be. You know what I mean? Like I would be at home and I'd just be terrified if somebody would ring the doorbell or something like that, or I'd get a phone call. I just very paranoid, very anxiety ridden, very lonely. And after I had done DMT, I was able to break those patterns in a way. So what I started doing is I started realizing, okay, I have to be in service to the collective, to, oneness. And I started volunteering. So I started volunteering with a organization, and I can't really talk about the organization. I can't really expose anything about our clients because I am bound not to. So, but I can talk about why I started and my experience with it and how that's helped me. So, I started about 3 years ago, and it was because after I'd done DMT, I was super empathetic. Like, I could feel everybody's emotions, and that was really bothering me. It also woke me up to the homelessness that we see all around us, especially in major cities. And this was something that I could identify with because I myself didn't have anywhere to stay for not very long. I'd say maybe 3 weeks or a month, if that, but I stayed with a friend. So, I mean, I do resonate with that because it is something that I see more of and something that I use to help me. And I see that there's a lot of people struggling. So I started working with senior citizens at a shelter, at a permanent residence. And I started teaching art classes every single week. Now, it was really hard at first. I was coming from an outside place and they didn't know me, and I was highly sensitive to vibrations, still am. And it was very difficult for the first year, I would say. But now I realize I am not serving them, they're serving me. So I really see this because every single time I have an interaction with them, they teach me so much about psychology, the human mind, myself, and why we are here. And I always, ever since I was a child, have learned from other people and other people's mistakes. So it's just a really awesome experience. If you guys are in a city alone and you don't have any friends and you've had a major experience like DMT, I would suggest that you go out and you help someone. Try to, do it on your own if you don't have any organizations around you, but I wouldn't suggest that because that's a really gray area. But I mean, that's something I used to do before I was with the organization that I was. I would make sandwiches and I would get like boxes of apple juice and I would go around, where I lived, where all the homeless people were, and I just hand out food. So that worked until I realized I wanted to do more and I wanted to do something a little bit more permanently. And that really, really, really helped me because I had a class that I had to go to. I had to schedule a meeting with people. So that was very, very helpful. If you are feeling very lonely, if you are feeling very vulnerable, if you are feeling that you are not contributing, if that's how you feel, because that's at that time, that's how I felt. I felt like I was not contributing in any way, and I just had to. And that was a great experience for me, and it still is. Actually, yesterday I got into a little, my cat got mad at me, and I was so sad, and I was just in a really weird state because I was thinking, I've done so much for this cat, and she's still like kind of afraid of me, and I don't understand why. And I went, and one of the clients that that's in my art class, she had made my cat a little cat toy with feathers and lanyard, and it was so adorable. It was so sweet because, the longer that you volunteer, the longer you establish a relationship with someone, the more that they just care about you and they miss you. And I feel like they are part of my circle. I am friends with them. They do feel like family. And it's something that I encourage all of you guys to do. If it's not that, you could do anything else. You could volunteer at an animal shelter if you want. I like to give my time because I find that my time and my energy is more valuable than any money that I could give. I do, however, I still give money, but I prefer to give my time because after I spend time with them. They're happy. We're listening to like old music that they used to listen to when they were kids, you know, in the 60s or the 50s. And it's something that is very fulfilling. And if you are just coming out of a major psychedelic experience, if you are coming out of or into a major awakening, then I would suggest that you go out and you just love someone. You go out and you just give love and you give happiness and you give bliss and you give just good vibes to people that are in a really rough situation, and it will make you appreciate life. It will make you appreciate this really weird experience that we are all collectively having, and it will make you have a sense of purpose. So that's all I wanted to relate to you guys. Anyway, reflections. Do you guys have any stories volunteering, and has this helped you? Do you have any like suggestions? Just write down below in the comment section. Anyway, reflections. I hope you're having an awesome, awesome day.
Hey Reflections, if you like my video, please like, subscribe, and check out my other videos.